There's 42 million Spanish speaking in the US. And that's only growing.
40, 50, 60, 70% of their practice is Spanish speaking. And I'm like, well, why is everything in English then?
If you already have somebody running, translate them and launch them in Spanish. It's one of the lowest lift ways that you could potentially hit a completely new audience. Social platforms work based off of languages. So if you're posting content, you're really only going to reach a certain language. Okay, bienvenidos a Marketly. This special episode is going to be about Spanish speakers and attracting more of those Spanish speakers into your practice, because it's definitely a growing segment. Those are patients muy buenos para tener, very good to have those patients, and it's more about just adding a Google widget on your website to translate your website, right? Now, just in case you're watching this for the first time, and I just want to say welcome to Marketly. Welcome. And what we do is we help established practices, dental practices, attract their dream clients
Yes.
through omnipresent marketing and systemizing their marketing. So let's talk a little bit about Spanish-speaking patients. So what's your background with Spanish-speaking patients?
Well, I think my background with Spanish speaking patients is we work really hard and dig deep to every single practice to what makes them different, because we kind of hear the same messaging over and over on dental websites. And so our job is to make them interesting and sound different. And one thing that pops up a lot is either 40, 50, 60, 70% of their practice is Spanish speaking. And I'm like, well, why is everything in English then? You know? And so I think that's where my interest to it comes, is my interest in this, or how I've become kind of an expert in it, is just marketing background and making people stand out and really honing in an audience that they connect with, that they bring them in and it makes sense. I mean, it doesn't hurt that I lived, 12 years in Mexico and in Puerto Vallarta. And no, don't ask me to speak Spanish, okay?
Oh, I won't. So why would you say it's important for practices to be intentional about it when it comes to, how they care for those certain segments of their patients, which, like you said, could sometimes be half of their patients?
Right. And I think marketing, if you're intentional and you just step back and really think about what makes you different, or I think one of the most important things is, and when we're talking to our clients, is they want high quality patients. And if you're not intentional, if you're not marketing with love, if you're not really thinking about what they need, how do we get rid of their barriers? How do we connect with them? You're just going to sound vanilla or very fake.
Right.
So I think that being intentional to it and honoring your different markets and how we can help them as service care providers is of the utmost importance.
So do you think you need any more than to just translate the website? Do you need to, treat them differently or consider them differently, provide different marketing materials for them or things in their practice?
Absolutely. It's not about a Google Translate switch, because Google Translate doesn't really get it right. And for them to see also videos in English and then videos in Spanish, it's like, wow, they know me. They really know our culture. They know how to take care of my family. They're very family oriented. When we're helping our doctors with a strong Spanish speaking patient base, they always say, we love, I mean, a lot of times the doctors are, um, habla español.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have perfect Spanish. And they, it's warm and inviting, but sometimes it's the team members, sometimes the doctors don't, is they're just absolutely fabulous people and patients. And so how you translate English to Spanish is different, like from the heart. Like our tag is like marketing with love. So I'll give you an example. We were at a 5 location practice in Texas, and I would say 70% were Spanish. And we have, Spanish speaking people on our team. that translated the videos, like in English and then we had in Spanish. And even that, the office manager, who was fluent, of course, native speaker, still wanted to finesse it, still wanted to be like, oh, we would really say it this way because it was from her heart. It's like, this is how we talk to our patients. And I love that. And it's like when we launch it and launch the brand, and the office really helps us hone in the messaging so we speak to the heart, it makes a huge difference for the patient base.
It doesn't, and that goes across video. When you think about video in general, it has to really touch the heart. It has to kind of cut through. It can't be generic for it to move people or inspire people or, draw them to you, to your heart.
Todo es been, yeah, no, it just doesn't work. It has to be like,
It has to be
yeah.
genuine. Yeah. And then, like you mentioned, something that was a good point is highlighting your staff. Even if the doctor doesn't speak Spanish, maybe you have a staff member, right? And that's going to make someone feel comfortable because there's some people that speak Spanish where you said it's the language of their heart, and other people don't even speak English, right? That can be
Right.
a large portion. So it can be kind of scary. It's medical. Can I trust it? And, having that person who can kind of walk them through the process in their mother tongue is definitely a factor. And a little tidbit, there's 42 million Spanish speaking in US.
Yo, that's
And
on.
that's only growing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it is a good audience. And I think if you guys have, a lot of Spanish speakers in your area, is what I would do is really think about interviewing any of your team members that are native speaking. If you're native speaking, to how you can add that more into your marketing message.
Yeah.
For sure. I was also going to mention too, I think is interesting when we were shooting that practice in Texas. A lot of it was the B-roll, which basically means, like, the behind the scenes kind of like, an office manager, he's walking down the aisle with this little child, sweetest little thing going to the X-ray. Just those moments, or it's like the technology, or it's laughing, it's high-fiving,
Videos of the practice in action,
in action,
verbal. And
showing the energy because, yeah, they love to smile. People love to smile and they love to feel comfortable. Like, oh, they're really nice. Like, they're professional. They're good at what they do. And, I'd love to hang out with them or go to a soccer game with them, or, you want to love them. That's what kind of video you want to create.
Yeah. So, quick question. So, for any practices out there that are listening, that they know that they have a Spanish speaking in their market.
Oh, yeah.
They know that the area, but they feel that they're just not attracting enough of them or speaking to enough of them. What are some tips that you would give them?
Well, if they really don't know the difference of the barrier from their English speaking to their Spanish speaking, let's say, start interviewing them. Talk to the patients that you have a close relationship with, and asking them, what made you comfortable coming in? What do you hear from us? What do you love most about it? Because you're like, oh, I didn't realize that that's what, made you, refer 10 people to me, because they're really good at referring friends and family too. And then make videos about it. Like, put it out there. You're like, or get their testimonial, like, get 3 to 5 of the Spanish speaking people that are your raving fans. Do a content creation in one day and make sure and have your main VIP, patients that you love. You think of the avatars that are, who's your high quality patient, that you guys love seeing every single day. Interview them. And we have clients like give us those notes and everything else. And then we write the scripts for them. Could be on a teleprompter. They could just, have, bullet points that they cover that. But I would say interviewing their current patient base if they don't know, or even the team, interviewing the team and making notes on what kind of content can they create to attract more.
Yeah. And I mean, you can also just translate the current content that you have, that works as too. There's a lot of AI solutions that can help you translate stuff into different languages.
And then have someone read it though.
Oh, absolutely.
Have your native tongue read it.
Yeah, you definitely have a QC, but also understanding that social platforms work based off of languages. So if you're posting content, you're really only going to reach a certain language. But if you post, the same content or similar content in a different language like Spanish, you're going to have that additional reach, whether it's organic or whether you're running paid ads. You're tapping into a whole other market.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about the paid ads. Like, what do you, because I know that you run paid ads in the campaigns department. How does that differ for you guys?
I would say for any practice running ads, especially video ads, if you already have somebody running, translate them and launch them in Spanish. It's one of the lowest lift ways that you could potentially hit a completely new audience without having to get so overly creative or try to come up with new things. And sometimes that's as simple as adding captions in Spanish. That can work. Or, translating it with AI, using a tool like HeyGen to translate your own avatar in, AI Spanish speaking, or having one of your Spanish speaking team members, do a similar script. Um, it's a low lift way, if you're running meta ads, pop those out. And a lot of times, what the practices we do that for, they find the Spanish speaking patients are just better patients. You know, they value their health, they value treatment, they're willing to pay what it costs to handle their health. Um, and so yeah, it's a bit of an untapped market and a bit of a blue ocean for a lot of practices, especially if your area has some Spanish speaking in there.
I want to just like stop right. You said something interesting, and you said blue ocean. And I don't know if our audience would know what blue ocean is because we're marketing, but it's kind of fun to talk about in the sense to in marketing, there's red ocean and there's blue ocean. Red ocean is where everybody's at, like it's like a shark frenzy. There's blood everywhere. Everybody's doing and saying the same thing. So it's constantly within the practice. What can you do to be different? What real and it's hard for sometimes the practice to figure that out, but that's like our job. But to think that this is blue ocean, it's over here. A lot of people aren't mentioning it, how they're saying it, interrupters, different things like that. And I think this is just one really strong, clean, easy lift to do that in blue ocean.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's like you said, it's a light lift, meaning something that might take you less than a day, an hour, a couple hours, but a huge potential upside.
Huge potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, our practices that are focused on this are winning. They're winning and they're loving their patient base for sure.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Any other thoughts that you have in terms of, how practices can connect with Spanish speaking patients or attract more of them?
Yeah, I would say just getting a really strong referral system. It's a big one because they're nervous and the dentist, that sort of thing. But if we make it easy, like a signage with a free wellness quiz, and it's all in Spanish, and they get $100 smile credit, I mean, that whole system, like we have a system in play, but any office can set that up. And because they know they're so connected, or their church and their family and their community is super strong. So I'd say you're getting a few in even from paid ads, right? So let's make our cost per acquisition or lifetime value, or grow more because you know that they're going to refer 3, 5, 10 people.
No, it is. And that just made me think, when you're thinking about lifetime value, you kind of hope that your patients will refer.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's very connected.
Yes.
So if you serve them at a high level, they're very connected in the community in terms of like they will refer you. People will ask about it. Hey, this guy, they don't, they're fair price. They offer good service. They take care of their patients. They do X, Y, and Z, whether that's having a staff member or even translating the videos to show that extra care. That'll go a long way in, building up that referral source.
And one other thing I would mention too is that if you're a family practice and you have a lot of families come in, you could do like a kids theme day to where they get to dress up like as a princess or a Marvel character or something like that. And some have, if you're 60-70% Spanish, it could be a kids day, it could be a Spanish kids day, depending on how the practice is built out. But what is really cool about that is it's building community.
Yeah.
You do like the kids get to color a kitty picture or a puppy picture. Once they do that, it goes up on the wall and they get a certificate because the practice will give, like, let's say $5 to a shelter. And so they're giving back. They're I mean, our patients, people are very community driven. But that's just kind of a fun thing to do. The parents love to see a practice teaching their children to give back to the community. And that's kind of a fun thing that they can do, and because it's also Instagram buzzworthy, so they're, taking pictures and they're sharing it on their social, and then they don't need to remember to refer or talk about referrals. It's like, "Oh my gosh, your dentist is so cool. They had face paintings and this and that." So if it's a real family practice, lots of kids, I would do a kids theme day too.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, thank you so much, and thank you all
Thank
for
you.
tuning in. If you had any aha moments, please, let us know in the comments. We live for those comments. We read every single one. If y'all are serious about growing your practice, also click the link that should be popping around somewhere. That's going to show our 4-part strategy of how to make your practice omnipresent and really show up anywhere that potential high quality patients are looking. All right, peace out from Market League.
Tracking your primary KPIs, things like your new patient numbers, which channels are the most profitable for you, things like your scheduling rate, your conversion rate, and really making data-driven decisions in your practice. The etymology of the word sales actually means to give. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're giving them the confidence, the opportunity, the time, the attention so that they can, improve their smile.
Hello, 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 beautiful people. Coming live from our Marketly
Headquarters.
Let's do this. We
All
have
right.
a super fun show today.
Yes. Okay, so today we're going to be getting into some interesting stuff. We're going to be looking at the secret to scaling your dental practice.